Welcome to Redacted Reality. If the allure of the shadowy, cryptic, and mystical tales captivate you, then please subscribe and hang around. Chapter 1: Secrets Brewed in Shadows. Marcus hunched his shoulders against the biting autumn wind as he trudged down the road from the hotel, his notebook clutched tightly in his hand. The sky hung low and gray, threatening rain that hadn't yet materialized. He'd been at this for hours now, talking to locals at the hotel bar about the Whittaker house, and had nothing but vague warnings and nervous glances to show for it. What a waste of a perfectly good Saturday, he muttered, shoving his free hand deeper into his pocket. The Black Powder Tavern loomed ahead, its weathered sign creaking in the wind. Marcus hesitated before pushing through the door. The blast of warmth and the scent of beer and fried food hit him immediately. A handful of patrons looked up briefly before returning to their conversations, their voices dropping to hushed tones. Marcus slid onto a bar stool, offering a tight smile to the bartender, a heavy-set man with the thinning gray hair and weary eyes. "What'll it be?" the bartender asked, wiping down the counter with a rag that had seen better days. "Whatever's on tap," Marcus said, then added, "and maybe some information, if you've got it." The bartender's movement slowed. "Information about what, exactly?" "The Whittaker house." Marcus kept his voice casual, though he couldn't help noticing how the nearest patrons suddenly found their drinks fascinating. The bartender placed a pint glass in front of Marcus with deliberate care. "Folks around here don't care much to talk about that place." "So I've noticed." Marcus took a sip of his beer. "But I'm working on a project. I need to understand why everyone clams up at the mention of it." The bartender leaned in, lowering his voice. "Listen, son. That house ain't just a house. There's something wrong with it. Always has been." "Wrong how?" Marcus pressed. "Ask Elmer over there." The bartender nodded toward an elderly man nursing a whiskey in the corner booth. "His brother went missing near that property back in '83. They never found him." Marcus nodded his thanks and grabbed his beer, making his way over to Elmer's table. The old man didn't look up as Marcus approached. "Mind if I join you?" Marcus asked. Elmer's rheumy eyes lifted finally. "Free country." Marcus settled into the booth. "I hear you might know something about the Whittaker house." The old man's face hardened. "Who's asking?" "Name's Marcus. I'm researching the history of that place." Elmer's gnarled fingers tightened around his glass. "My brother Tommy went up there on a dare. 23 years old, strong as an ox, smart too." His voice grew quieter. "They found his truck parked half a mile from the property. Keys still in the ignition. But Tommy? Gone." "I'm sorry," Marcus said genuinely. "Ain't the only one," Elmer continued, his eyes distant. "That place takes people. Has for generations. Some say it's cursed by the original owner, that Whittaker fellow. Did things in there, unnatural things." Marcus leaned forward. "What kind of things?" Elmer glanced around nervously before answering. "Rituals, summonings. My grandma used to say Whittaker made a deal with something that wasn't meant to be bargained with. Said he invited it in and never left." A chill ran down Marcus's spine despite the tavern's warmth. "And people believe this?" "People around here don't need to believe it. They see what happens." Elmer drained his whiskey. "Every day or so, that house gets hungry. It takes someone new. Sometimes they vanish. Sometimes they come back. Changed." "Changed how?" "Empty," Elmer whispered. "Like something hollowed them out from the inside. My cousin's wife's brother went up there in '97. Came back 3 days later. Couldn't speak. Couldn't sleep. Just stared at the walls. Put a shotgun in his mouth 2 weeks after." Marcus swallowed hard, scribbling notes. "Has Anyone ever tried to destroy the house? A bitter laugh escaped Elmer's lips. Sure. Fire in 72. Didn't even singe the paint. Demolition crew in 85. Equipment failure. That place protects itself. The conversation was interrupted as the tavern door swung open. A middle-aged woman with salt and pepper hair entered, scanning the room until her eyes landed upon Marcus. Her lips thinned as she marched towards their table. "You're the one asking questions about the Whittaker place," she stated, not bothering with introductions. Marcus nodded cautiously. I am. "Margaret Holloway," she said, sliding into the booth beside Elmer, who shifted uncomfortably. "My family's been in this town for 6 generations. We know things others don't." "I'm listening," Marcus said, pen poised. Margaret's voice dropped to barely above a whisper. "That house sits on a threshold. Not just land, something deeper. The judge knew it, and that's why he built there. The basement goes down further than it should. Tunnels that shouldn't exist." "And how do you know this?" Marcus asked. "My grandfather worked for Whittaker. Maintenance man. Said there were rooms below that didn't match any blueprints. Rooms where the walls felt wrong, like they were breathing." She shuddered. "He quit after finding symbols carved into the foundation. Said they moved when you weren't looking directly at them." Elmer nodded solemnly. "The whole town knows not to go there after dark. Even the wildlife stays clear." "It's not just the house," Margaret continued. "It's what it does to people. Makes them see things, hear things, brings out whatever darkness is already inside them." Marcus fought to keep his expression neutral, though his pulse quickened. "Like what happened to Judge Whittaker himself?" Margaret's eyes widened slightly. "You've done some research already, I see." "Not enough," Marcus admitted. "That's why I'm here." She leaned back, studying him. "You're part of that group that's been poking around, aren't you? With that professor woman and that jumpy blonde?" Marcus didn't confirm or deny, but his silence was answer enough. "Listen to me carefully," Margaret said, her voice hardening. "Whatever you think you're doing, stop. That place has been dormant for years, but you start digging, and you'll wake it up, and God help us all." "It's a house, not a monster," Marcus countered, though his conviction wavered. "Is it?" Margaret's eyes bored into his. "Then explain why every family that's tried to live there since Whittaker has either fled in terror, ended up dead. Explain why animals won't go near it. Explain why, on certain nights, people claim to see lights in the windows when the place has had no electricity for decades." Marcus had no answer. "We leave it alone," Elmer said firmly. "That's how we survive in this town. We pretend it isn't there, and it mostly leaves us be." "Mostly," Margaret echoed, her expression grim. "Except when fools like you go stirring things up." The weight of their warnings settled over Marcus like a shroud. He'd come looking for a ghost story and local superstitions, something to dismiss with his trademark sarcasm. Instead, he found genuine fear etched into the faces of people who'd lived there their entire lives in the shadow of something they couldn't explain. "Well, thank you for your time," Marcus said finally, closing his notebook. He left the 20 on the table and stood. As he headed for the door, the bartender called after him. "Hey, kid." Marcus turned. "Whatever you're planning," the man said, "don't go alone, and don't go at night." Marcus nodded, unable to summon his usual quip. Outside, the first drops of rain began to fall, cold and insistent against his skin. He glanced at his phone, thumb hovering over Sarah's number. The warnings echoed in his mind, impossible to dismiss. For the first time since this all began, Marcus felt truly afraid.